Jets fans, how's it going? Rob the Random Jet Fan here. The day after the Aaron Rodgers trade, and I finally had a minute. I just want to talk about it for a quick second, give you my thoughts, and go from there. First and foremost, it's finally done. It's something that needed to happen, regardless of which side of the aisle you were on originally, whether or not you wanted Rodgers, Carr, whoever else. Draft another quarterback, stick with Zach, Tannehill, whoever. I think we can all agree that this, in the end, was the right move to make, and it's something that just needed to happen. The Jets have this playoff-ready team. They just need that quarterback to get him over the hump. Team won 7 games last year with a mix of Mike White, Joe Flacco, and Zach Wilson for most of the year, and ended up winning 7 games and looked really good up until we started having injuries. AVT, Breece Hall, and the list goes on. A million different combinations on the O-line. But the one thing that always stood out was the quarterback play. We have the playmakers, Garrett Wilson, now Allen Lazard. Corey Davis doesn't have to worry about being a 1 or even a 2. He could be a 3 or 4. Mecole Hardman to replace Braxton Berrios. He has the second highest yak ability in the league since entering in 2019 at, I believe, 8.3 yards. So it's a fun little weapon for Rodgers to have. Again, Breece Hall, he would have won Rookie of the Year if he never got hurt. Michael Carter, hopefully this kind of hoping he gets back to that, that 2021 form. Hopefully the line can hold up and be healthy this year to really help him get to there. The emergence of Zonovan Knight last season looked really good. Looks like he can probably be 100 times better when the defenses aren't stacking the box, because they know that Aaron Rodgers back there is slinging the ball. Our tight ends, Uzoma, Conklin, hopefully see more record this year. We got weapons all over the place, man. We were just a quarterback away. Like I said, this is just something that needs to be done, that needed to get done. Now, as far as the actual trade compensation goes, the Jets send, flip-flop first-round picks. They give Green Bay 13 and get 15 in return, giving up a second-round pick, number 42 this year, and a 6th-round pick that they basically flip-flopped with Green Bay. They get back Green Bay's 5th. But the one part of this trade that has a lot of people kind of maybe second-guessing it, including myself, is that second-round conditional pick next year that can turn into a first, which I think we all kind of were expecting, but it's the fact that all Rodgers has to do is play 65% of the snaps, which you're hoping he can. You gave up assets for it, you're hoping he can come in and help win you Super Bowl. You're kind of hoping he plays at least 65% of the snaps, should be 100. But there's something to that. I think it's kind of unspoken that Rodgers is going to at least play 2 years. I think there was a gentleman's agreement between him and Joe Douglas that, during negotiations said, yeah, I'll play at least 2 years, because I don't think Joe Douglas makes the requirements that easy to get a first if you don't expect him to be here next year. Because then what's the point? Because next season, if he's only going to be here for a year, the next season you're scrambling to find another quarterback anyway, which most likely would be through the draft. And I say that because you don't know who's going to be available. You don't know if Lamar's going to get locked up a long time, or what disgruntled veteran QB is going to want to trade, or whatever. So I think that's a pretty good indication. He's going to be here at least 2 years, 2 to 3 years. We'll see what happens when his new contract comes out. I think we'll have a better understanding then. As far as now the draft goes, sliding back 2 spots in the first round, I think that's a pretty good indication that Joe Douglas feels that this offensive line class is pretty top-notch, and that he could find some really good talent in the middle to later first rounds, or even in the later rounds, because I assume that the top 3 tackles are going to be off the board then. We know Joe Douglas is going to go get a tackle at some point in this draft, probably the first round. So I think that was an indication he feels he feels good about maybe even sliding back a couple more spots, and targeting someone like Anton Harrison, Darnell Wright. Maybe there's someone we're not thinking about. These guys have a way better understanding and way better view of these prospects than we do as fans. So, hey, maybe they're seeing something we're not. I think that this also indicates that I think the theme of the draft this year is going to be trade back, trade back, trade back. Collect more assets, try to regain that third that you lost in the Moore trade. Especially with that second round pick, I think Joe Douglas is going to feel pretty good moving around in draft, most likely back to collect more assets to really load up this team this year for Aaron Rodgers. But all in all, I'm happy it's done. Aaron Rodgers, welcome to the New York Jets. There's a new king in New York. Sorry, Aaron Judge. You're going to have to wait 2-3 years. You'll get that title back. But as of right now, it's Aaron Rodgers, king of New York. Joe Douglas, way to make this happen. And before we go, he actually made a really good point in his press conference today, saying, you never feel 100% good about a trade, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, in any situation, did you want to give up less for Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely. Did Green Bay want more for Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely. But at some point, you got to compromise, and that's what they did. And honestly, I think it was a fair trade. And you look at Joe Douglas's trade history, he got more value for Jamal Adams, a box safety that was disgruntled and wanted to get out of New York. Got more for Jamal Adams, and he got more for Sam Darnold, who everyone knows they were going to draft another quarterback. They were going to try to move Sam Darnold. So both of those players, and, the list goes on. Chris Herndon. It goes on. So people saying Joe Douglas got fleeced. I don't think he got fleeced. Did he want to pay more? Did he give up more than he wanted to? Did he give up more than what us fans wanted to? Yeah, but you know what? It was a fair trade. He got 4-time MVP, taking snaps. So, hey, good move. Needed to happen. I'm excited to see what this means for the draft. I think it makes it a little bit more unpredictable. But, see what happens. So, with that being said, Aaron Rodgers, again, welcome to New York Jets. And let's go Jets.